Howdy, howdy. Cody here with Creation Outdoors, and I am headed west. I am on the road to North Dakota for the Whitetail opener. Happy September to all of you, and good luck on all of your endeavors if you're chasing elk or deer this year. I just got out of work and hit the road, and although today is actually opening day of the North Dakota deer season, I'm only going to make it out for the second day on this weekend. I'm hoping to make it in time to do a little bit of scouting tonight and look for maybe some green soybeans and see if we can spot any bucks out on the fields grazing, but we'll see. We're going in a little bit blind because I didn't have any time to scout this summer as it was quite busy, but we're hoping for the best, and we'll probably maybe be making several trips out here depending on how this one goes, but wish us luck and pay attention to some of the future stuff we're putting out because this could be a very exciting season. So come along and we'll experience it together. Alright folks, here's a little known fact about traveling. Every good road trip, starting in, ending at, or going through the Midwest, needs a stop at the Midwest's premier fast food restaurant. And of course that restaurant is Culver's. This place is awesome.
Hi there, thanks for choosing Culver's. What can we make fresh for you today?
They say nutrition is important for us hunters and anglers and outdoors men and women to be able to perform in the field, and I would agree with that 100%. And I think that there's no better way to perform exceptionally when you're out and about at your destination than to preemptively eat Culver's. I'm definitely not paid to say that. I just love Culver's, as any true Midwesterner does. Oh yeah, here we go.
$196, right there.
Thank you. Well, we made it. We are in North Dakota, and I reached a spot that I did some online scouting, e-scouting using Onyx and Google Maps, and just one of those instances where it just goes to show that this e-scouting can only get you so far because we have, some beans here, but this field I think is actually full of sorghum, which I don't have a whole lot of experience with in terms of how that impacts deer movement. So I'm going to go check out a couple other places that I had marked and come up with a game plan for tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. This could be really good or not so much, but we'll see. The things you see on public land. That's kind of creepy. Although maybe that means that that's a good place to go in. We'll see. Alright guys, we made it. This is our opening day. And we are headed in the midst of mosquitoes everywhere for our first sit. The winds are extremely light and variable today, which is going to make things tough, but the other thing that's going to make things tough is we have a river crossing ahead that I don't know that we'll be able to, but we got the waders on our back, and we'll see. Hopefully we can get in there. We're getting in really early, so if we can't get across, we have enough time to find plan B, so we'll see what happens. Regardless, Regardless, it's a great day to be out in the woods after some of these North Dakota whitetails. I think we're gonna have to move to Plan B. Oh, we got some squirrels, but this river is way bigger than what I anticipated. I think it's gonna be a no-go with the chest waders. So, Plan B it is. Hey guys, we finally made it in the stand. Obviously this is Plan B, as you guys know. So I moved in here, back along the river. I don't know if you can see the river in here behind me, but there's a swamp out here. And I'm kind of at a pinch point between the river with my wind blowing up towards where I'm thinking that the deer will go and feed tonight. So I'm hoping they come out of this bedding area and work through this pinch point up along this river. And I can get a shot before they get past me. So I took the morning off to shoot my bow, which I'm glad I did because it was about shooting 6 inches to the right at 20 yards. But this early season whitetail hunting is definitely more of an afternoon game anyway, and when you're, I think, plenty early. It's about 2 o'clock now, and I was hoping the wind would pick up more as we get to dark, but it's swirling a little bit now, but it's supposed to get stronger as the night goes on, so we'll see. A little bit of an observation sit, but it's our first time in this piece, so we're figuring it out as we go. It's a beautiful night though, and it sure does feel nice to be in the stand again. So happy September 5, and we'll see how the night goes. We've been on stand here for a little while. Nothing so far, but thankfully the wind is picking up a little bit. Although it's still a little bit more swirly than what I would like it to be here. It seems like after every big gust, there gets this backwash where we don't really want it to go, and I don't know if it's because of the river or what, because it's pretty flat topography, so hopefully as the night goes on and the wind increases, we eliminate that backwash effect that's pushing our wind in the direction where I don't think that we want it to go. Thankfully the mosquitoes though have calmed down, because I did just cover myself in bug spray, 40% DEET, which I guess eliminates the utility of any sort of scent control regimen. So leave a comment below if you've got a better idea than just covering yourself in bug spray to eliminate getting carried away by mosquitoes out here in the early season. But we'll see. It's still really early, so lots of time to make things happen, and hopefully we can catch some deer passing through this pinch point later on in the evening. You probably can't hear this, but just had a cool experience. Some splashing in the water here right behind me, which is only, I don't know, 25, 30 yards away. I didn't know if it was a deer crossing or what, but looked over there and there's a benefits of being out here and hunting and enjoying creation. You get to see all this other wildlife other than what you're after. So it's definitely worthwhile just spending time out and about and seeing what you can see. Alright, checking back in. I don't know what's going on where I anticipated the deer to come from. But someone or something is really breaking down some trees and causing a ruckus. And I'm hoping that that's not human interference. It ended up causing an owl to fly past, but we'll see. Could push some deer my way as well. I don't know. Again, there's lots of time left, but public land, who knows what's gonna happen. Wind is still a little swirly, but like I said, lots of time left, so we'll see. Alright, well, we made it back to the Tacoma. So lots of updates from tonight, but really nothing to show for it. It ended up being a slow night, although it was really quite a symphony out there with all the birds and frogs and otters and owls. I mean, I don't know that I've ever heard so many owls before in my life in a single night in the woods. So that was pretty spectacular. But nothing in terms of the species of which we are after. So no deer. And how do we move forward from here? So I'll link this in the description below, but Mark Kenyon actually put out a recent podcast, and Mark Kenyon is, of course, from Wired to Hunt, part of the Meat Eater crew now. And that recent podcast kind of made me think, don't necessarily just call it a wash and just say, it happens. It happens. This is real life. Not a professional. I'm hunting public land, and sometimes you don't see deer. But how can we learn from this? So the question of the day then becomes why. What can we learn? Why did this happen? So what can we glean from this? Well, as it turns out, the river bottoms and swamps of North Dakota harbor a ton of mosquitoes. Which is just absurd. I just about got carried away out there. But that's the case. Second thing, we're hunting public land. And this is multi-use public land. And it seemed like there was some pressure or some noise, or at least other individuals out where I thought that the deer would come from. So instead of just saying, it's public land, that happens, how can I use that distraction in my advantage? So learning from this and learning where the pressure is coming from and how the deer would react to that, and then set myself up so that I can use that as an advantage. The next thing is the wind. It seemed like the wind was just swirling really bad in there, and it was a little bit different than what they forecasted, it seemed like today, but now I know that if I do go back in there, that the wind will have to be stronger and more persistent so that I don't get some of that swirling variable winds that we ran into today. And finally, I think I can learn that the deer weren't keying in on the food source that I thought they would. So moving forward, this isn't the food source to hunt, and find another food source or a different pinch point where it's going to a different food source. And so I can use that moving forward to regroup and come up with another game plan. So that's the nice thing about public land, though, is, I can blow up spot after spot after spot because there's just about an infinite number of spots. And so that's really great. And those spots are available for you too. So, first night in the books, and going to head back to my brother's place where I'm staying, because I think the brisket that we started this morning should be about done, and I've been looking forward to that all night. So, thanks for tuning in. If this no deer sighting night resonated with you, feel free to like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it. I promise that I will do better to put out better content, at least some more exciting things in terms of deer goes moving forward. So what do we know? Things can only go up from here. Hey guys, we made it to the stand, and I think, as you can probably hear, no light and variable winds today. We just have a really good wind for this spot. I'm kind of between two swamps at a point with an open area that I think they'll probably be skirting here. So I did see two guys at the trailhead that are in just a little bit farther down from me, and once I got set up, I can actually see another stand that someone had set up. The range is 76 yards away. It doesn't look like there's anyone in there, but the wind would not be good for that spot, so I'm hoping that no one comes in here later in the day. We're in here pretty early, so we'll see. But that's public land. I finally found some oak trees, which is better than the basswood trees I was in last night, so I'm hopeful that there'll be some movement between these two swamps, avoiding that open area, and maybe hitting some of these acorns from this white oak stand. So we'll see. It's early, and we'll get settled in and let things calm down, but the wind is good and we're out here. There's also a cold front moving in tonight, so hopefully that has the deer moving and up on their feet. We'll see. Alright, we've been on the stand here for a couple hours now, and this wind is definitely bringing in that cold front. It feels like fall, that's for sure. With a nice chill in the air. Thankfully, it seems like no one's using that stand that's 75 yards upwind from us, so I'm thankful for that. But the chill in the air, makes it feel like a great night, but we'll see. We still have a couple hours of daylight left because we got in early, so we'll see what happens. All quiet so far, but lots of time left. It only takes a moment. Well, it happened. We've got an hour and a half left of daylight, and a guy just went into that tree stand. Thankfully, he did it quietly, and he was wearing a safety harness. But that greatly eliminates the direction where the deer could come from, so I don't have much hope. You never know, but it's so late. I'm not gonna back up and move, so I'm just gonna stick it out. But I don't see it happening with him there. Oh well, public land. Gotta love it. Alright guys, that was it. That was it for my night, and that was it for opening weekend in North Dakota. I had that guy move in, and then he proceeded to utilize his grunt call every 10 minutes or so until dark. And that's just how it goes on public land. I'm still figuring it out, obviously. Growing up, the way that we hunted was on the same 40 acres, and we hunted over bait, and we sat in the same stands whenever we went, regardless of wind direction, and if some showed up to the bait, some showed up, and if not, we didn't see any deer. So I'm accustomed to seeing no deer, but this piece of public was getting hit a little bit harder than what I anticipated. You know, in scouting for this piece, you have to get permission, and I was hoping that that would keep people away, but that wasn't the case. I contemplated moving once I got in the stand, but the way I would have moved, the guys that I met at the trailhead, they were that direction, so I didn't want to encroach on them, so I stuck it out in hopes that guy wouldn't sit there, but so be it. I'm still learning, still figuring out this public land, and one thing I definitely need to improve on is when I get into a spot that I've e-scouted, don't concede and set up on marginal sign. There's so many spots out there, and so I shouldn't worry as much about blowing some up by boots on the ground scouting. But I wish I had the next 2 days to hunt because this cold front is moving in, but have to get back to work as duty calls. But big things are coming. Headed to Washington for elk at the end of this weekend, and that's going to be another new experience that I'm looking forward to. So North Dakota has been humbling, and I'm definitely going to be back because I have a bone to pick now, and I'm going to figure this out and get some eyes on some whitetails later in the season. So thanks for watching. Thanks for learning with me, and stay tuned because hopefully we can provide some more exciting things in the future. But for the time being, I'm headed back, and I'm just going to utilize my tears to season my Butterburger. So see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you for choosing Culver's. What can I make fresh for you?